Ken.
I'm Nicole.
And today we're doing Nehemiah. Aren't you excited?
I am.
All right. What are we going to talk about, Nicole?
We can talk about authorship.
Let's do it.
This is what we know. It was written in the first part of the 4th century in Palestine.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anything
else
more
about
relevant?
it? No.
No, not really.
That's when it was written.
All right. That's all good.
We don't really know that much.
I know. They didn't sign their documents with their names. That would have been helpful.
Yeah, but it's paired with Ezra.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same literary unit.
In fact, in the Septuagint, the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible,
one book.
it is, it's called Second Ezra.
Oh, yeah.
Second Esdras, or Second Ezra.
Yes.
So they consider it one book, just 2 parts. That's, oh. All
Okay,
right, well, we can talk about the history of everything going on. Nehemiah is basically part 2 of Ezra. The book of Ezra, they are out of exile. The Israelites are out of exile. They're back into the homeland. And the whole point of Ezra is we will build the temple.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. You do it? Yes, we can. Oh, this is great. I did not start that silliness. That was Nicole starting silliness.
It was!
Yay! So they were focusing on the temple. In Nehemiah, they are focusing on rebuilding of the walls. What do you think? Why would it be important in an ancient world, in an ancient context, for a city to have walls, Nicole?
Well, walls were the major form of defense.
Yes, they were.
And you don't really have a city if you don't have walls. So that's why you need it.
And I personally, I think it's fascinating they decide, at least in the ordering of the books, to build the temple before they build the wall. This is a people with high priorities on worship.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, I think, because what if building the temple went horribly wrong and they needed to build it someplace else?
They don't have walls, so
right.
they could move it.
So they could move it, and they didn't waste all that time building walls.
See, this is the brilliant kind of thinking that goes on at TPC when you all are working and you think we're,
Well, I think it just makes good sense. You don't build a fence before you build a house.
I like this. This is probably why we should be doing what we're doing.
I know.
And not in home construction. All right,
well, I don't think you build the fence first.
No, that's probably true. That's probably true. But the Romans, the first thing a Roman would do when they build a town is they would build the city wall.
Yeah.
And then they would build inside, because if you don't have the wall, people come and kill you.
This is true.
Which is not a good thing.
But they had the protection from the Persian Empire at this time, so defense
helped.
Yeah, defense is not their first priority.
They decided defense before the fence. That was beautiful. It was the 4th of July recently, and so I'm going to wave the flag on. Oh, that'd be cool.
I know.
Bring that in.
Okay, I'll bring it in next time.
And then you're going to talk about themes.
So the themes really are centered on the rebuilding of the city walls, and the repopulating of Jerusalem, renewing of covenant, and it's just.
What is covenant again? Say a word about that.
Covenant is the agreement between the people and between God. It's the we will be your people, I will be your God. These are kind of the benefits, but also the requirements of it. That's what covenant is.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it.
Excellent. Anything more there?
I don't think so. They're really centered on that idea of renewing the covenant.
Awesome. All right, then the 3 stories we're going to talk about. The first one is about the priest Ezra, even though it's the book of Nehemiah. Nehemiah was the kind of the governor of the town and the area, and it's been sent by the Persian governor to oversee all of this. Ezra is the great priest, And in this story, and it's kind of later in the book, it's in chapter 8, we see kind of the beginning model of synagogue worship that then becomes worship in the Christian church. Before this point, worship is temple-centric. There's one temple, and that is the place where everybody in the entire region, if you're a Jew, has to go, and then you have priests offer sacrifice on your behalf. And that's really what religion looks like for almost all of the history at this point. But it's going to change, and it had to change when the temple was destroyed and burned down. They had to figure out a different way to worship. And so now when they come back, they have rebuilt the temple, so they're going to have that sacrificial system again. But they also are going to have now a synagogue system, or a time of weekly gathering where people will go in, they will read scripture, they will exposit or explain what they're reading, and they'll probably sing psalms together. We don't know a whole lot about early worship at that point.
It kind of feels like how you go to church on Sundays, but you might go to a Bible study in the middle of the week.
That's a good thought. Yeah,
you know, like
and they incorporate it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what we see with Ezra. Only it's this is the worship for the strong-legged crowd. Ezra is standing up and he reads from, as they say, the entire book of the law. So if we believe this, if we take this very seriously, Ezra might be reading the entire book of Deuteronomy while all the people are standing. I think it's at the Watergate, which I preached a while back about Nixon, and it was
Watergate.
It was clever.
And the Watergate.
It was so clever.
You love those double meanings.
I
I love them too. I think people like them. They're good things.
I think so. They make me happy. So he's reading the entire law, and they're all having to stand. And I remember I went to Easter at an Eastern Orthodox, or a Pascha at an Eastern Orthodox church. And you literally have to stand for the entire service.
And they are long. I love going.
Well, you know you've been to something.
Yeah.
After you walk out of that. So that's...
you kind of need 3 days of rest.
You do. You need some, Sabbath after that. So Ezra reads the law, he interprets it, and this is really the foundation for all preaching that comes after this, is the scriptures read and then interpreted. And it's a pivotal moment where kind of the birth of worship as we know it begins. Nicole, you're talking about covenant.
Okay. And I think it's all like the birth of liturgy in a lot of ways. Yeah. Because within this, they renew their covenantal vows. And it's beautiful because it's one of those rare instances in the Bible where it's